The job you gave your life to disappears. The person you love stops loving you. The body you relied on gets sick. The future you imagined vanishes like smoke between your fingers. There's a moment, maybe you've felt it, where everything seems to shift under your feet. Like gravity is gone, you're standing there, clutching the pieces of a life that once made sense, and now you don't even know where to begin. You feel paralyzed, alone, maybe even broken. But here's the truth, as hard as it is to hear. Sometimes things have to fall apart so something better can be built. Now, I know that sounds like a slogan on a coffee mug or a line from a self-help book. But I'm not talking about optimism. I'm talking about transformation. I'm talking about the power that comes from being stripped bare, when there's nothing left but your raw, honest self, and still choosing to move forward. Because in those moments of collapse, you meet the real you. Not the you that smiles for the world. Not the you that has it all together. But the you that survives. That version of you is not weak. That version of you is a warrior. Let me tell you something, it's easy to be strong when life is easy. It's easy to be confident when the wins keep coming, when the plan works out, when everything fits neatly into your expectations. But character is not forged in comfort. It is carved in chaos. There is a Japanese art called kintsugi, maybe you've heard of it. It's the practice of mending broken pottery with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, they illuminate them. They make them beautiful. Why? Because they tell a story. A story of resilience, of imperfection, of survival, and so do you. When your life shatters, you have the power to rebuild, not back to the way it was, but into something stronger, deeper, more honest. You have the choice, to let the pain harden you or teach you, to let the loss define you or refine you, to let the fall break you or shape you. Pain, as cruel as it may seem, is also a messenger. It shows us what matters. It strips away the illusion of control and reminds us that we are human, vulnerable, connected. It teaches us empathy, because once you've been broken, you recognize the cracks in others. You learn how to hold people more gently, to love more fiercely, to live more deeply. So what do you do when everything falls apart? First, you breathe. That may sound small, but sometimes, it's everything. One breath, then another. You show up in this moment, not the one you lost, not the one you wish for, but this one. You stand in the ashes and remind yourself, I am still here. Then, you grieve, because loss deserves to be honored. You don't rush to fix. You don't pretend to be okay. You cry, you scream, you sit in the silence. You let the waves crash over you, knowing they won't last forever. And slowly, you begin again. You take one step, small, shaky, but yours. You rebuild your life brick by brick, not with the materials you had before, but with the wisdom you now carry. You look around and realize you are not alone. There are others walking through their own ruins, quietly fighting their own battles. Reach for them, because when things fall apart, they also open. They open us to new truths, new strength, new possibilities. They clear the clutter of false identities and make room for what really matters: love, purpose, courage. Here's the beautiful paradox of life. Sometimes you lose everything you thought you needed, and find everything you truly are. Sometimes the end of something you thought would last forever is actually the beginning of who you were meant to become. I say this not to romanticize pain, but to reframe it. To remind you that there is meaning even in the mess. That falling apart is not the end of your story, it may be the most honest chapter yet. Look at the trees in winter. Bare, stripped, cold, but still alive. They do not apologize for their emptiness. They do not despair. They trust that spring will come. And it does. So if you are in a season of falling apart, I honor your courage. I honor your quiet persistence. I honor the tears you cry in the dark and the fight you still have in your bones. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep going. And one day, you'll look back and realize that breaking point, it didn't break you, it broke you open. And from that opening, light poured in. So rise, not because you're unbroken, but because you are brave enough to begin again. Rise, not in spite of your pain, but because of it. Rise, not to prove anything to the world, but to remember who you are, resilient, worthy, whole, even when the pieces don't look like they fit. Remember this: the storm will pass, the light will return, and you will rise. Because when things fall apart, that's when you find out just how powerful your heart truly is. Thank you.